fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My goals are different than other people's at these days.
In the days following his official signing, quiet whispers began circulating behind the scenes. Talk of fractured relationships, burned bridges, and decisions that didn't sit well in certain offices. Something clearly shifted out of public view. And now the picture is coming into focus. Jon Jones may be setting his sights on the PFL, a move that would represent a worst-case scenario for Dana White and the UFC as the rival promotion continues to flex real power. When Jones walked away from the UFC in June 2025, he didn't just exit quietly. He vacated the heavyweight title, shut the door on an era, and left behind a resume few fighters in history can touch. 28 wins, 1 loss, 1 no contest. Championship dominance across 2 divisions that at the time, it felt final. Bones appeared to have written the last chapter of his fighting career, and the MMA world collectively took a breath. But Jon Jones has never been a man who fades into the background. Silence has never been his style. And just when everyone thought the story was finished, the noise started again. Louder, more calculated, and aimed directly at the balance of power in combat sports.
Fighting just to continue fighting doesn't make sense to me anymore. I can earn money outside of punching people. To challenge myself in that way means more to me now than to fight again.
Only weeks after announcing his retirement, Jon Jones began doing what he's always done best, creating uncertainty. Just when it seemed like the door was firmly closed, subtle signals suggested otherwise. Then came the moment that changed the tone entirely. When former President Donald Trump floated the idea of a landmark UFC event tied to the White House, it clearly struck a nerve with Jones. He openly admitted the idea caught his attention, using a characteristically colorful expression that didn't exactly sound like someone finished with competition. Not long after, the speculation turned into something more concrete. By early July of 2025, Jones had taken a decisive step by re-enrolling in the UFC's anti-doping program, a requirement no fighter completes unless a return is at least being seriously considered. The move didn't confirm anything outright, but it sent a clear message. Retirement, in Jones' case, may have been more of a pause than a conclusion.
Are you going to be fighting at the White House?
That is my goal.
That is your goal?
That is my goal. It's been my goal for a very long time, but Dana's the boss. He's a genius businessman and leader, and I really hope he gives me the opportunity. I would be so honored.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for your return. Oh my gosh.
Cross your fingers with me. Come on.
Hey, I'll pray for it. Yes. Thank you so much.
Jones' retirement barely made it past the 3-week mark before signs of a comeback began to surface. While he was publicly playing the familiar "maybe I'm done, maybe I'm not" game with the UFC, another organization was paying very close attention. That organization was the Professional Fighters League, that PFL has positioned itself from day one as the direct counterweight to Dana White's UFC. Launched in 2018 by financier Don Davis, the league rose from the remains of World Series of Fighting with a straightforward mission statement. Fighters should have more leverage, more money, more autonomy, more options. Davis has repeatedly pointed to what he believes is a massively underexploited audience. Hundreds of millions of MMA fans worldwide who are hungry for an alternative power structure. And the growth has been aggressive. In 2023, PFL absorbed Bellator MMA, instantly strengthening its roster while removing its most serious rival in a single move. That same year, Saudi-backed SRJ Sports Investments took a minority stake, signaling serious global ambition. By 2025, industry estimates placed PFL's valuation near the $1 billion mark. Expansion followed quickly, with regional leagues rolling out across Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and Africa, and plans already in motion for Asia, Australia, and Latin America. What separates PFL from the UFC is philosophy as much as scale. Instead of promoter-driven matchmaking, the league operates on a season-based tournament format, where fighters advance on results and compete for $1 million prizes. Wins matter. Advancement matters. The system is marketed as a meritocracy rather than a popularity contest. This was never about survival. It was a deliberate challenge to the UFC's dominance. The strategy that truly put PFL in the headlines, however, was its approach to signing talent. Critics call it poaching. PFL calls it offering opportunity. Don Davis hasn't softened his language, openly stating that fighters are paid better and retain more control under the PFL banner. In his view, athletes aren't managed, they're empowered. Unsurprisingly, Dana White has taken those comments personally. He has dismissed PFL as financially unstable and predicted that fighters would eventually return to the UFC en masse. But despite the rhetoric, PFL landed a signing that changed everything. Francis Ngannou. Ngannou walked away from the UFC in early 2023 while still holding the heavyweight title, after negotiations collapsed over pay structure, long-term security, and fighter protections. The split was ugly. White later suggested he had no issue watching Ngannou leave, a remark that underscored just how fractured that relationship had become. For PFL, however, Ngannou wasn't just a signing, he was a statement. And once that statement was made, the entire industry started paying attention.
Francis Ngannou is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He plays the whole, I don't understand the language, and he tries to come off like he's guy, you know what I mean? And people go, oh, it's the language barrier probably. No, there's no barrier with this guy.
According to White, Francis violently over a bonus.
And he was pissed off that he didn't get a $50,000 bonus. Francis, you didn't get it because this, that, and he's in my office and he's arguing with me. The conversation's over, I'm starting to leave, and he grabs me by my shirt and like pushes me back in my office. And I said, dude, get your hands off me.
Ngannou finalized a groundbreaking agreement with the PFL in May 2023, a deal that immediately signaled a power shift in combat sports. It was promoted as the biggest signing in the organization's history. Beyond a standard fight contract, Ngannou received equity in the company, executive influence, and was appointed chairman of PFL Africa. Most notably, the deal allowed him unrestricted freedom to pursue professional boxing alongside MMA. That freedom paid off quickly. In October 2023, Ngannou stepped into the ring with Tyson Fury and delivered a performance few expected, pushing the heavyweight champion in a competitive loss that stunned the boxing world. 5 months later, he faced Anthony Joshua in March 2024, suffering a knockout defeat, but reportedly earning close to $30 million combined from the 2 boxing bouts alone. Inside the PFL cage, Ngannou competed once, stopping Renan Ferreira in the opening round in October 2024 to claim the PFL Super Fights heavyweight title. While PFL finally had its global centerpiece, critics pointed out that the limited MMA activity raised questions about the return on such a massive investment. That leads directly to Jon Jones. PFL founder Don Davis has been explicit about his ambitions. He wants the greatest fighter of all time competing under the PFL banner, and he wants it to happen against Francis Ngannou. In March 2025, Davis publicly floated a $50 million offer for Jones to fight Ngannou, even posting on social media that there was only one way Jon Jones could earn that kind of money: by settling the debate over who the true heavyweight king and pound-for-pound best really is. Davis openly branded it the fight of the decade, and few fans disagreed. By June 2025, the proposal escalated into a winner-take-all spectacle reportedly backed by Riyadh season funding. The concept was simple and provocative. If Ngannou won, he and PFL would split all profits. If Jones won, Jones and the UFC would take the entire share. The offer was designed to dominate headlines and place pressure squarely on Dana White, framing the UFC as the obstacle to the biggest heavyweight fight imaginable. Davis even suggested that fear, not logistics, had prevented the matchup for years. The tension between Jones and Ngannou stretches back to 2020. Jones vacated his light heavyweight title specifically to move up and pursue heavyweight gold, while Ngannou was rising through the UFC ranks at the same time. Fans relentlessly pushed for the collision. Ngannou captured the UFC heavyweight title in March 2021 with a brutal knockout of Stipe Miocic. Jones was widely viewed as the natural next opponent, but negotiations stalled. Reports indicated Jones was seeking compensation on par with elite heavyweight boxers, figures ranging from 8 figures upward. The UFC pushed back. Ngannou's camp later stated that contract terms would have significantly reduced his pay in the event of a loss, which they viewed as unacceptable. Dana White blamed multiple parties, while Ngannou described the offers as leverage tactics as he approached free agency. As the blame bounced around, the fight quietly died. Ngannou defended his title once, defeating Cyril Gane in January 2022 despite entering the bout with severe knee injuries. He then spent over a year sidelined by surgery and unresolved contract disputes before ultimately leaving the UFC as champion. Jones made his heavyweight debut in March 2023, submitting Gane for the vacant title. While impressive, many fans felt the timing avoided a prime Ngannou, a criticism that still lingers. Now the door may be reopening that I end December 2025. Ngannou revealed on Ariel Helwani's show that his PFL contract was nearing its end, with only one fight remaining before mid-2026. He openly identified Jon Jones as his dream MMA opponent and named Deontay Wilder as his preferred boxing matchup. Asked about the possibility of fighting Jones at a White House UFC event, Ngannou didn't hesitate, calling it the biggest fight imaginable and stating plainly that no matchup compares to Jones versus Ngannou. Jones responded positively. When Ngannou's team hinted at interest in a UFC return, Jones replied that this was the kind of legacy fight that truly mattered. A genuine clash of champions, not manufactured hype. He made it clear that such a matchup would take priority over other contenders because of its historical weight. At this point, the alignment is clear. Jones wants it. Ngannou wants it. PFL wants it. Fans have wanted it for years. The only remaining obstacle appears to be the promotional divide. That's where the White House enters the picture. June 14, 2026, has quietly become a date circled across the MMA world. Plans are reportedly underway for a UFC event on the South Lawn of the White House, the first professional sporting event ever held on the grounds. President Donald Trump initially teased the idea in July 2025, suggesting an outdoor card with tens of thousands in attendance. What once sounded absurd now appears increasingly real. If it happens, it won't just be another fight card. It could become the stage for the most consequential heavyweight confrontation in MMA history, or the symbol of a rivalry and power struggle that prevents it from ever happening at all.
And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. Does anybody watch UFC, the great Dana Well? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250.